Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking all about how to navigate eating during the holidays and enjoying all of the amazing foods and desserts and everything that's available to us this time of year without overdoing it. If you guys are new around here, my name is Becca. I'm a registered dietitian and I specialize in nutrition education and intuitive eating. And this is definitely a major intuitive eating topic. It's also something, eating during the holidays, not overdoing it, still being able to enjoy all the food. This is something that I personally really struggled with before I learned to listen to my body and eat intuitively. So we are going to be diving into 5 key tips that you can implement at the next holiday gathering you go to so that you're able to enjoy yourself and enjoy all the food, but not be overstuffed and feel guilty and uncomfortable afterwards. As I said, this is definitely something that I struggled with in the past, and this is a very common struggle for people. I mean, it's almost normal to gain weight during the holiday season because of all of the decadent foods that are available. And this really is a difficult situation because you go to all of these gatherings. It's like concentrated in this 1 month or month and a half where there is so much decadent food. A lot of it is once a year food that you're not going to have again until next year. So there's a lot of pressure on these eating experiences if you really want to enjoy them. And it's, no wonder that people end up overdoing it all the time. So if you also struggle with this, which I'm guessing you probably do if you've clicked on this video, you probably fall into one of 2 categories. You probably fall into category A, where you just completely lose control in these situations. You overeat to the point of gluttony and you feel so uncomfortably full afterwards. Maybe you feel guilty and you just don't feel good. Or you probably fall into category B, where you overly restrict, you don't allow yourself to enjoy, XYZ food at XYZ gathering, and you're very stressed out and you're very preoccupied and you end up just kind of don't enjoying anything because you're so focused on not eating bad foods. Whether you are in category A or category B, both of these scenarios can come about when we are preoccupied with food and really giving it more attention than it deserves. So whether you go totally overboard, kind of panic that you're not going to have these foods again for a while and end up eating way more than you even really want, all the name of enjoying it, which makes no sense when you really think about it, or if you just overly restrict and you are stressed out and you miss out, you just aren't enjoying these situations to their fullest. You can't. And there really is a much better way to go about this. And I'm going to share with you my 5 tips on how to get there. Tip number 1. Don't starve yourself before. People fall into this trap all the time where they decide they're either going to eat light or they're going to save up their calories for the Thanksgiving meal or the Christmas dinner or whatever it is. This is just going to backfire because number 1, if you are eating really light or, far less, or maybe not at all, or far less than what you're used to eating during the day, what your body's used to getting as far as fuel, you are going to A, probably have really low blood sugar by the time you show up at that gathering, and B, all of your body's hunger signals are going to be blaring. You are going to be craving food so much more. You are going to be so much more preoccupied with food because it's literally your brain telling you, hi, we need to eat so that we don't starve. So you're going to be going into this abundance of food with far less self-control than you would have had if you had just eaten normally throughout the day. And this, my friends, is how you get yourself into an out of control eating situation. And that is so easy to avoid if you just eat normally before you show up to these gatherings. Tip number 2, when you arrive at the gathering, go ahead and take a lap. This is a really big one, and this is something that I do every time I show up to really any event involving food in general, because really the object at the end of the day is we want to enjoy and savor all of the foods that we really want. Now, if you don't know what's available to you at this gathering, all the hors d'oeuvres and the meal and whatever else, the desserts, everything, if you don't really know what's available, you can't fully enjoy everything that you want. And what I mean by that is At the end of the day, we only have a certain amount of space in our stomach before we reach comfortable fullness. And if you are trying not to overdo it, then you're going to try and honor that fullness when you reach that point. But if you are, let's say you get stuck talking to Aunt Nancy by the cheese board, and you are just snacking on the cheese and crackers and the grapes and whatever else, you may not know that your mom's famous baked brie is right over there, and you filled up on the cheese and crackers when really you would have rather skipped that and just gone for the delicious baked brie. So actually take a lap, see what's available to you so that you can pick what you really want, so that you're not wasting, let's say, precious stomach space on foods that maybe aren't going to bring you as much pleasure. Tip number 3 is to really savor the food. And this might sound simple, but actually pay attention to what you're eating. Really allow the flavors to register with your taste buds. Pay attention to the aromas, experience the mouthfeel of the foods. Basically just actually tune in to what you're eating and experience all the sensations that come along with eating, because that is going to give you the ultimate satisfaction. And again, if these are only foods that you enjoy once a year or a couple times a year because that's when they're available, then you really do want to get as much satisfaction and pleasure from that experience as you can. So really tuning in and savoring that is how you're going to just get the max satisfaction from that experience. And a bonus, often when we really tune in and are extra satisfied versus if we are just talking and not paying attention and just popping things in our mouth without really focusing on what we're eating, you will actually probably end up eating less because you are going to be hitting that satisfaction peak from a smaller amount of food because you're actually really paying attention to what you're eating. Tip number 4 is to shift your focus from the food. Now, when it comes to gatherings and celebrations, sharing food is a huge part of it, and it's actually like one of my favorite parts. Think of breaking bread around the table. Sharing food with people is one of the biggest joys of life. But when you go to these holiday gatherings, it's not the only thing, right? So it shouldn't be your main focus or your only focus. Don't give food more attention than it deserves. You're also there with friends and family. Focus on being present with them and really enjoying their company versus being super stressed out or super focused on what you're eating or maybe what you're not allowing yourself to eat. Being preoccupied with food and therefore being stressed out about the food situation is one of the quickest ways to just completely zap the joy out of any experience. I have definitely been there. So try your best to shift that focus, not spend too much time worrying about food and what you're eating, and really just focus on the people that are there and connecting with them, because that is what it's all about at the end of the day. And tip number 5, give yourself grace. As I said previously, this can be a really difficult thing for people, being surrounded by an abundance of food, a lot of which they're not going to have again until next year. And there also just logistically might be so many foods that you love and you really just want to try, and maybe you overeat, okay? Maybe you have way too, one too many cookies and you feel sluggish for a few days. Maybe your digestion is thrown off for a couple days because you really just enjoyed all of the food that you really wanted at that particular event. Guess what? That's okay. You're gonna digest that food, you're gonna move on, you're gonna feel like yourself again. You're not gonna be stuck in this place forever. In fact, just a couple of days, your body will rebound and it will, right itself, and you will feel fine. There's no denying that these are special occasions when it comes to food and what's available and the amount that's available. This is not an everyday situation that we're in. So this might be a trade-off where, you do eat a little bit past comfortable fullness because you do want to enjoy, a multitude of foods that are available. Or maybe you eat too much sugar or whatever it is. That's okay. You can have a trade-off, and maybe it takes you a couple days. You're feeling sluggish or your digestion's off or, you're bloated or whatever it is, the negative consequence of eating that way. It's okay. You're gonna get back to normal, and you can have this trade-off and your body can bounce back. The difference here, and this is key, is that you don't go so overboard that you feel so horrible and so uncomfortable and so guilty that you must restrict to regain control. That is a very big difference. You don't want to go so far, you know, on the spectrum this way where you overdo it that you have to, you know, juice cleanse come Monday because you have you need to go in the opposite direction to right yourself. We're trying to avoid the extremes. It's okay to go a little overboard. It's okay to feel, you know, a little off for a couple days because you really enjoyed a very decadent meal and then pumpkin pie and whatever else at the end, some cookies. That's okay, you know? We just want to avoid the extremes. So those are my 5 tips. I hope that these will help equip you when you go to all of your holiday gatherings in the coming weeks now that the Christmas season is upon us. My goal is really just to help you navigate food in a way that allows you to really enjoy it and reap satisfaction from it and have it be this pleasurable, positive thing in your life without overdoing it to the point where you feel uncomfortable and guilty and you get in that trap, that kind of dieting mindset of where you need to now, you know, purge or cleanse or, you know, restrict to get back to feeling normal. This scenario is just one of many ways that eating intuitively can really help you navigate being healthy, but also enjoying food and getting pleasure from it. And that is exactly what I teach in my program, Mindful Eating Made Simple. And it is going to be reopening for enrollment on January 1st, which is actually the first time I've announced that publicly. I'm so excited to have some more students in the program and just to help as many people more personally than I can via YouTube videos. So there is tons of course material, but there's also a coaching component where we will have group Zoom calls where I will be able to talk to you like individually to help you work through some of your struggles, help you work through, you know, the stages of learning to eat intuitively, releasing the diet mindset, and then also just learning the basic fundamentals of nutrition so that you can really lay that groundwork for healthy eating for lifelong. So if you want more information on that, I have the waitlist linked down below. That way you can get information as soon as it launches and how to sign up and how to enroll and all of that. So make sure that you join the waitlist if you're interested in really finding food freedom this year and getting off the diet hamster wheel and actually learning how to eat healthy from, you know, a biological evidence-based, you know, perspective from a dietitian, someone who really knows what they're talking about. So I will leave that link down below so you can join the waitlist. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are new, I would absolutely love for you to subscribe, join my little community here on YouTube. I also wish you the best this holiday season. I hope you enjoy the holidays, all the gatherings, all the food, all of the beautiful things that come along with this time of year. Sending you my love. Thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.